Oh, there we go. Oh, God.
Yes, sir.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Massive mango.
Oh,
Dude.
my God. What a slob, man. Yeah.
That was on bottom too, Bubba. We're on. Is this another mangrove? All right, y'all, we got another massive mangrove right here. Dropping those double snells down there with that frozen cigar minnow has really been producing.
Caught way more than me and I'm still beat. Caught way more than me and I caught way more than me.
Well, you heard it here first. I was able to catch more fish than anybody else, and also the biggest fish out of anybody else. And I do believe that's because of a very specific rig I was using. What's going on, y'all? It's Matt Niak with Salt Strong, and I'm here to tell you about the rig that I was using that day. And that's gonna be a double snell circle hook rig. Now, I know you guys are probably wondering where we caught those giant fish, and if you guys are wondering how to find nearshore places just like that, it's super easy using our Smart Fishing Spots app. Just by going into our Smart Fishing Spots app, here you can actually open up our menu options here, and you can see we have an Artificial Reefs layer. Once you click on that button right there to show the Artificial Reefs, it'll actually give you a wide selection of different places, and even if you click on one of the spots, it'll even give you some information on that reef specifically, such as depth or the type of structure that could be down there. So those are all helpful things when you're looking to try and plan a successful fishing trip. So if you want to know some more information about Smart Fishing Spots, be sure to check out the link provided. But let's go ahead and check out this rigging trick. All right, Salt Strong family, we're here at the table, and just before I start, I do want to go ahead and preface this instructional here by letting you know that the equipment you use is very important. According to regulations in the Gulf waters, you must use non-stainless steel hooks and non-offset. These Gamakatsu Octopus Circle inline hooks, as long as they are not offset, and you do want to try and have the hook that has this bend up here at the top, because that's going to help you snell these hooks when it comes time to putting them on the line and keeping your bait presentation straight. But just as an example to show you guys what not to use, if you can see the color tone difference between these two hooks, you can tell that one is obviously not stainless steel and the other could be. So, and there's also another factor about this hook that makes it illegal. In the regulations, it says that you must use inline circle hooks. This right here would be an example of an offset. If you guys can see right there, if you look really closely, you can tell that the actual point of this hook is not in line with the shank. That is what they're referring to when they say inline hook. Notice how on this hook, it will be in line with the shank of the hook. So the point is exactly in line with the shank so that there's no offset point on that hook. This would be legal in Florida's Gulf waters. This would be illegal. So it's very important to make sure you're using the right equipment. To be sure about that, I would recommend going to myfwc.com. That's myfwc.com to get some regulations for Florida waters. Now, if you live outside of Florida, be sure to get the regulations that are for the waters in which you fish. Now, Atlantic waters are a little bit different since they are governed by the federal entity rather than state. So keep that in mind, but just be sure that you're using the correct hook. Now, I would also like to say that I did reach out to FWC to make sure that this rig right here actually is a legal rig to use, and I did confirm that it is. So I wanted to make sure I shared that as well. I do have some referencing information that I can throw up on the screen right here so that you guys can see that I was able to ensure that this is legal before I did it. Now, these hooks right here are available at our tackle shop at fishstrong.com. Granted, we do have these in a 6-pack rather than the larger 25-pack. This is just something that I have, but they are the exact same hooks. Also, we do have the Ando monofilament leader and our Salt Strong braid cutting scissors. These will work for our monofilament as well. So let's go ahead and jump into this rigging. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start with one of our hooks right here. And the first thing we'll do is take one of the tag ends of our leader. Now, I am using 6/0 hooks and 60-pound leader. You could use anywhere between 4/0, 5/0, or 6/0 hooks is what I would recommend for this. But if you're going to use 4/0, I would recommend going with 40 pound, 5/0, 50 pound, 6/0, 60 pound. So just to go ahead and jump into this demonstration, we have our hook right here, and what we're going to do is come in the front of the hook first. And if you'll notice, I bring that tag end down to the bottom of the hook. What's really important is I want to hold that tag end flush right there coming down the back side of the hook. Once I have a good grip there to ensure that that tag end isn't going to slip or move off of the back of the hook there, I'll begin to make twists around that hook. Also twisting in there that tag line that I laid over the back. Once I've got me 6 or 7 twists in there, I'll grab my opposite tag end and feed it right back through the back. So through the first time we went through the front to bring it down the back of the hook, the second time we went in through the back to bring it out the front. So now I'm going to cinch this hook down just a little bit, and as you can see, that line moves up that hook shank, and that tag end is laying right there on the back. So we're gonna leave that there for a second. That's one snelled hook right now. And then we're gonna go ahead and grab our second hook. So the first hook, we went in through the front and out through the back, but this second hook, we're going to do a little bit different. We're going to go through the back and out through the front. And once we get that tag end pulled up, what we're going to do is kind of measure out our hooks. I'll try and line those up as best I can so that they're laying the same direction here, so that both the hooks are pointed in the same direction. That's going to help me later when I go to rig my baits. But again, I'll pinch that line, lay it down across the back side of that circle hook there, making sure that my hooks didn't get twisted up. Once I got it flush against the back of the hook there, I'll do the same procedure, wrap it over that hook. And once I got it 7 wraps, I'll pinch the line right there to make sure it doesn't move, and I'll send the line again back through that eyelet from the back. I'll send it through the back and out through the front. When I pull on that tag line, I'll hold the bottom hook in position. And what I'll do is I'll cinch that knot down by pulling the tag end and holding the bottom circle hook as well. So that'll pull that hook flush on that knot. So if any fish pulls on this hook, it will only create more tension on the line and the knot rather than putting stress on it, causing it to potentially break. So now that we have our hooks attached to the line here, we want to make sure we cut off this tag end down here at the bottom. Again, remind you that the tension from a fish will keep that knot tight so it won't slip. But when it comes to rigging your bait on one of these rigs, I want to show you guys really quick how to do it. So I'll just use this bomber right here for an example. I don't want to use a cigar minnow here at the table, so I'm just going to use this for a prop to show you guys an example of how I would rig this. So if this was my rig sitting like this, I would want my bait to drop down head first, the tail end at the top. That will make it more hydrodynamic. That would ensure me that the weighted end is on the bottom so that it doesn't spiral on the way down. You want it to have a natural presentation, and if the hooks are sitting in there with the head at the bottom hook, you will have the best presentation. So just to show you guys really quick, as I said, this will be used for a prop, but on a cigar minnow, you would have some lateral lines going down here on the side. I tried to paint some there in the body for you guys to be able to see, but it just didn't really work out for me. But I'll show you guys how I would do this either way. So one thing I will do is, as I said, I want my bottom hook to be at the head. So I would come right here behind where the gill plate would be for that fish, and I would send that bait all the way through the body, coming out in the same spot on the opposite side. That's what I'd want to do there, come out around that same point on the opposite side of the fish right there around that gill plate. So now if I spin that bait around, it would look like this on that single hook. Now we'll take it a step further and we'll put our second hook inside of the bait as well. Now we're going to want those hooks to lay natural in the descend, so we want them to not be bunched up on each other. So you guys can see this tag part of our mono that's between those two hooks doesn't have a big bow in it. When they are laid out flat, those hooks lay the same direction inside that bait. Now, being sure that you rig that bait straight is going to be of utmost importance. You want those hooks to be in line with each other, like you guys can see right there. That's going to help make sure that the bait doesn't spiral on the way down and ensure that when you do get a strike, you have maximum hookup opportunity. So just to kind of recap for you guys, this is what your finished rig would look like. To make this rig, what you would need is offset inline circle hooks. Now you do want to make sure you have those with the bend at the top so that you can snell those hooks properly. Again, this is the bulk pack, but we do have the 6-pack available at fishstrong.com, just like we do with the leader material. This is the 60-pound to be paired with the 6/0 hooks. As I said, if you want to use anything between that 4/0 to 6/0, just be sure you match your line to your hook. If it's a 4/0 hook, go with 40-pound line, 5/0 hook, 50-pound line, 6/0 hook, 60-pound line. Pretty easy. Just make sure when you up the size of your hook, you up the size of your line. Your targeted species will heavily influence what pound test line you use. Now, we know that there's some of those bigger species down at those reefs, so I do like to go a little bigger with that 60-pound line. In case I do get hooked up to something big, I have a better chance of getting it up. Our Salt Strong split ring scissors are also available in the tackle shop. They're helpful whether you're cutting mono or braid, and even more helpful than cutting line is that lip right there at the front of those scissors. Those help you with those split rings, just being able to ensure that you can get those opens and do change outs whenever necessary. So these scissors are really helpful. But one thing I do want to circle back with again is making sure you use the right equipment. If you guys can see, this hook right here is probably stainless steel. It's also in a J hook fashion. It's not so much a circle hook. It's got more of a J hook style there. J hooks are also illegal, as well as any hook with an offset to that point. As you guys are able to see there, the point does not sit in line with the shank of that hook. It is a little twisted, spiraled off center, if you will. So this is not a legal hook for reef fishing in the Gulf. Again, I strongly encourage you to check with your local waters to find out about what is legal and what is not. But this would not be legal for us in the Gulf waters, number one, because it is offset. It would be a J hook, and it is stainless steel. So this would be a 3-strike against it, given that this hook would not be allowed. All right, Salt Strong Nation, I do want to drive home the importance of making sure you're using the right gear. As I said in that video, keep in mind the Gulf waters are regulated by the state and not by the federal entities, so the rules there are a little different. So no matter what, be sure to check with your local regulating entity to make sure that this is something that's legal in your area. But as I said, for us here in Florida's Gulf waters, it is a legal rig. So if you want to pick up any of the tackle that I highlighted in this rig, you can do that at the links provided below. And you can also get some more information from Smart Fishing Spots there as well. So if you guys like to see some more rigging hacks just like this or some other options, be sure to let me know about those down in the comments section. If you have a bottom fishing rig that's successful for you when you go to fish at reefs, be sure to let me know about that down below as well. And maybe we'll see if we can get a contest going. Until next time, we appreciate you watching, and we'll see you in the next video.